Hello, everyone out there. It's Jeff Exline in the Digital Content Center. Hopefully, you're staying cool on this Monday. It is rather hot outside already. Temperatures climbing well into the 80s now, and the heat index is climbing into the 90s at 11 a.m. this morning. You know, it's only getting hotter as the temperature climbs in the 90s this afternoon. The heat index could exceed 100 degrees in some locations this afternoon. So we have hot, humid weather. Heat advisories are in effect, and it is a dry start to the week. While it is a dry start to the week, we will see shower and thunderstorm chances begin to pick up here later on this week. We'll get to that in a second, but definitely the heat. That's the big story here. You look at the all the areas in orange are under heat advisories, which is much of the area. An excessive heat warning has been issued for metropolitan area such as the Pittsburgh area to our east, where there is more concrete buildings, etc. It runs a little higher in that area versus more rural areas, and even goes for cities around here such as downtown Steubenville, downtown Wheeling. Places where you have a lot of concrete are going to be running a lot higher. We call that the urban heat island, than areas that are out in the countryside and have more grass and trees, which run a little bit cooler. National Weather Service also issued an excessive heat warning for Tyler County in West Virginia. The National Weather Service out of Charleston issues Tyler County. The rest of our area comes out of the National Weather Service out of Pittsburgh. So anyway, you slice it, it's hot. Here's a look at the 11 a.m. observations. Wintersville's at 86, Wheeling at 85, Sistersville 89, Cambridge at 86, and New Philadelphia at 86, Pittsburgh at 87. So that's the current temperature in these areas, climbing through the 80s. The current heat index is climbing through the 90s. 95 is what it feels like right now in Wintersville, 92 in Wheeling, 98 in Sistersville, and 92 in New Philadelphia, and 91 in Cambridge. So hot stuff, and the humidity makes it feel even hotter. Near record warmth today. The forecast high of 94 degrees would tie the record set on this date back on June the 23rd. Going way back there to 1948. Sunshine, fair weather, cumulus clouds out there right now. You can see the comfort index. It's instant sweat as dew points are above the 70-degree mark. Very, very sticky and icky outdoors, and it's that humidity that gets us in the summertime. Muggy meter shows that instant sweat is going to be sticking around here literally on us throughout the week. There's look at the heat index forecast, topping 100 degrees in some areas, as I mentioned, for this afternoon. So make sure you exercise caution and stay ahead of this heat and humidity by drinking plenty of H2O. I'm on my third glass of water here today and just trying to keep myself hydrated through the day and just use common sense. You look at the heat threat forecast next 2 days, of course, peaking in the afternoon hours. So we want to use extreme caution this afternoon. You can see how that dies off this evening, that threat. And then as we head into Tuesday, it ramps back up during the similar time in the afternoon and evening hours, when that's when the temperatures will be highest, and humidity values, of course, running high as well, giving that feel like temperature up around 100 degrees or so over the course of the next few days. Yesterday, we recorded our first 90-degree day of the year, and it looks like we have several more coming our way, at least through Wednesday. Some question marks Thursday and Friday based on how much convection will be around if we could get to 90, but it'll be pretty hot all week long and definitely humid, as I mentioned. And we focus a lot on the humidity in the summertime for good reason. Why do we sweat? Maybe something you don't want to talk about, sweat a whole lot, right? Nobody wants to talk about my wife. She says she sweats all the time, no matter what. I guess some people are more susceptible to sweat, but sweat is a mechanism to cool our body. So our internal temperature should be 98.6, but when we're out in the heat and the humidity, we begin to sweat. That's because our temperature rises. So sweat is released from our skin, and the water from that sweat evaporates. We call this evaporational cooling. So as water evaporates, and you probably have felt this before if you got out of the shower, right? In the and especially when the air is dry, you get out of the shower and you get that little chill. Or maybe in a swimming pool, not on a day like today, but let's say you're in a swimming pool when it was 75, sunny, low humidity. You get out, you get that chill. That water is evaporating off your skin, and that's lowering your body temperature. So that process also, it's how, air conditioning basically works. Drawing heat from our bodies known as evaporational cooling. Now, on muggy days like today, when it's very humid and all week long, the sweat, it takes longer for it to evaporate, and that leaves us that icky, sticky feeling, and it can be dangerous as well because it's not cooling down our internal temperature. So that's why we need to just use some common sense. Here are some heat dangers. Just want to throw this out there. It's important in days like this. Heat exhaustion and heat stroke are two main issues when you have hot weather like we're seeing. So here are some of the heat danger signs. Fainting or dizzy is heat exhaustion. No sweating, it's interesting, in heat stroke, and excessive sweating and heat exhaustion. And so those are just some of the symptoms that can occur. Muscle cramps. So the difference between heat exhaustion and heat stroke. Of course, heat stroke being the more dangerous of the two. And you would want to call 911 if you have any of those symptoms. Now, heat exhaustion, you just want to get into a cool air conditioned place, cool yourself down, drink plenty of water, and take a cold shower, use cold compresses. Basically, you're trying to lower your body temperature down. So let's look at some of the heat dangers when it comes to the hot weather. And it was something that, this week, it's going to be hot, and it's not going to cool off a whole lot at night. Our low temperatures are expected to remain at 70 degrees or above at night for about 7 days. We already had one this morning, and I expect several more in our future. So last time we had a stretch of 7 days was 2006. And it's interesting, all these are in the 2000s. 2016, 2011, we saw an 8-day stretch with low temperatures of 70 degrees or higher. So it's not going to be cooling off a whole lot at night with all the moisture. And that's something we've been seeing in our warming climate. And I think, you just look at that, all those, pretty recent stretches, all the stretches, the long stretches of 70 or above at night. We have been seeing with our warming climate a lot more humidity, and that keeps the temperatures up at night. So we've been seeing a lot more in the way of warmer nights. Now, it's interesting too that humidity, you have a lot of humidity around it. It sort of limits how high the temperature can go during the day. If it was drier with low humidity, it would actually be hotter. But humidity does keep our temperatures up at night. UV index headed out this afternoon. The UV index is topping out at 9, which is very high. Your burn time is 20 minutes, especially now through about 3-4 o'clock this afternoon. Won't have to worry about any storms today popping up as the atmosphere is capped. There is a small chance of an isolated storm north of I-70 tomorrow afternoon, and then a few showers and thunderstorms are possible on Wednesday as well, but they are going to be kind of hit and miss here as we head towards the middle of the week. So no rain today. I want to show you Futurecast for tomorrow. You can see some of those blips showing up. A lot of the area doesn't see any rain tomorrow. It could be something stray isolated, though, out there tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. Then as we head into Wednesday, we will see a few more showers and storms in the afternoon and evening. Still kind of scattered, hit and miss. But we will see some of those thunderstorms begin to pop. And that's something we'll have to watch out for when we have all this humidity like we do this week. There is the potential for downpours in thunderstorms. So something to watch out for as the week progresses and we deal with these scattered thunderstorms. A very hot week, as I mentioned, those low temperatures tonight will stay in the 70s. Our high temperature is going to be generally in the 90s. Again, some question marks there Thursday and Friday if we can get to 90 based on cloud cover, how much rain's actually out there. But as we head towards Saturday, there appears to be two fronts that may enhance some rain chances. One would come through Saturday afternoon, another one coming either Monday or Tuesday of next week. And notice next week's not going to be quite as hot, probably not as humid as well. By next Wednesday, we'll be seeing high temperatures up around 80 degrees. So this week's hot. As we head towards the 4th of July, probably not as hot as what we are seeing this week. We're going to see high temperatures generally in the 80s next week, probably in that 80 to 84 degree range for around the 4th of July. I can show you on the 15-day high temperature trend. This week it's going to be quite hot, but next week's not looking quite as hot. High temperature right now, going with a high around 84 on the 4th of July. Definitely warm, right? But not as hot as what we're seeing here this week. And probably get a lot of thermometers. A lot of people saying their thermometer at their house is running higher than what we're reporting on TV. And just wanted to show you the reason why that's the case. Where we get our observations, mainly from the Ohio County Airport, these are in Stevenson screens. So if you see that white encasing around the thermometer, what we're trying to do when you're measuring temperature, you want true ambient air temperature. You don't want the temperature, reflected off of the heat of a building, etc. A lot of times people will, have their thermometers in the sun, or they'll have it close to their house, and there's nothing protecting it. So official readings that we show on television are really good measurements of air temperature, and that's what we're looking at. So these Stevenson screens are painted in white. That reduces the heat absorption, while a lot of people just hang thermometers near their house, and it can be in direct sun, dark colors. This is why these temperatures run a lot higher than the temperature you're going to see on television. So Stevenson screens are also placed 4 feet above the ground, not nearby houses or concrete. They can radiate heat. So if your thermometer at your house is reading over 100 degrees, it's basically, or 100 or above, it's basically in a bad spot. And you're really not getting true ambient air temperature. But air temperatures today will be in the 90s. Expect high temperature around 94 degrees this afternoon, and the heat index will be up over 100 at times this afternoon. So it's very, very hot weather. Lisa says, let's see here. We don't have too many comments this morning. Everyone's quiet, just chilling. Lisa says, welcome back. Thank you, Lisa. I was at the Smoky Mountains last week with my family, so had a great vacation. I was going to show some photos. It's sort of hard to, let's see. We did a lot of hiking, of course. We did the Alum Trail Cave, which is on going up towards Mount LeComte. Let me see if I can. There's a hiking photo right there. My son Declan and my wife, we were doing a little bit of hiking in the Smokies. Really enjoyed it. Nice family vacation with my wife's side of the family, and had a great time. I also did a really cool thing out in North Carolina. Of course, if you've ever been to the Smoky Mountains, it's on the border of Tennessee and North Carolina. And we went on these rail cars here, and they basically go on a I could maybe play a little video here. They go on a there I am. So there I'm on the rail car. There we go. But they basically go on the bike, or on the old train tracks there, and you're pedaling on the tracks. So that's what we were doing, pedaling. But you also have like an assist, like an electronic assist. It was kind of neat, like you do with the I guess if you have an electric bike or whatever, it gives you that little boost. And we did see a bear in the Smokies. We also crossed the Sky Bridge. So yeah, it was a great trip. Sky Bridge, which is up in Gatlinburg. So yeah, it was fun. Did some shopping, checked out some of the scenery, did a couple hikes, and saw the bear. Let's see. Here's not the best bear video photo, but I was driving. It was in the ditch. I think it found some food along the side of the road. So it was in there. You can't even really see his head, but there he was. So I was happy to see a bear there in the Smoky Mountains. That was as close as I got. Okay. So thanks to Lisa for welcoming me back. So that's the weather in a nutshell. It's hot this week. Just take it easy. Our current temperatures, if you're just tuning in here at 11 a.m., we have these heat advisories and excessive heat warnings in effect through Wednesday. I want to add, I'm not sure if I mentioned that, but these go through Wednesday evening, not just today. And there's a look at those current temperatures, at least the 11 a.m. observations. Washington, PA is missing. I'm not sure what happened to it. Maybe it melted. But it's 86 in Wintersville, 85 in Wheeling, up to 90 now in Sistersville, 86 in Cambridge, 86 in New Philadelphia. The heat index nearing 100 in Sistersville. So 92 in Wheeling, 95 in Wintersville. So hot stuff. That heat index will be up around over 100 degrees or so this afternoon. The record high for today is 94. And that was back in 1948, and that's the forecast high temperature today as well. Very humid, but the atmosphere is capped today, so it will not lead to any storms today. That can change after today, but remaining very humid, instant sweat kind of weather all week. And there's a look at that dangerous heat index through the course of the week, and it's going to peak. Highest peaks there when it comes to the heat index will occur during the afternoon and evening hours of today and tomorrow. These warm temperatures are not going anywhere, so just try to stay cool. There's a look at some heat dangers. Make sure you just familiarize yourself and drink plenty of water. I've been drinking more water than I usually do here. So that's a look at some of the heat dangers when it comes to heat exhaustion. And of course, heat stroke is a lot. There's a look at some of the symptoms that come with each of those. And heat stroke is the greater of the two, and that's the more serious of the two. But don't take the heat. As some people always say, well, it's summertime, it's supposed to be hot, but you just got to take it a little easy, especially younger people. Make sure they're hydrated. Make sure pets are hydrated. Also, elderly people, the extremes, right? It's always the younger and the older that are vulnerable. And when it comes to any really type of weather conditions, but it's more so when it comes to the heat, make sure everyone's drinking plenty of water. Everyone's nice and cool. Kathy says, keep cool and safe. Good morning to Kathy. Thank you, Kathy. Thanks for checking in. So that's the big story of the week is the heat. And it's not going anywhere anytime soon this week. The hottest portion of the week, though, here, probably early in the week. Later in the week, those chances for hit and miss thunderstorms will start to appear. We'll have to deal with those on a daily basis today. And for the most part, tomorrow, most of us won't have any rain tomorrow. It could be a few tomorrow afternoon, but they should be very isolated. They become a bit more scattered in nature Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And we'll watch two fronts, one coming into Saturday afternoon based on the latest timing, another one early in next week. That'll knock down the temperature and humidity, especially towards the middle part of next week. And I don't expect it to be as hot around the 4th of July. I expect high temperatures, probably low, maybe mid 80s for the 4th of July, 80, 84 degree range for highs. So not as hot as what we're seeing this week. For the 4th of July week, or as we head towards the 4th, which is later next week, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Okay. Well, try to stay cool out there, everyone. A hot, humid day today. That high of 94, shooting for the record, set back in 1948. I'll have much more news. Bill will have the latest news of the day, along with our team of reporters coming up on News 9 midday, coming up at noon. So stay cool, drink plenty of H2O. Use common sense, and we'll get through these hot days. It'll be interesting, though. Well, could this be the hottest week of summer? It may end up being the hottest week of summer. I know we were saying, well, summer just sort of started, but, I really still think the core of the heat all summer long is going to be in the center of the country, where it will remain very dry as well. Every once in a while, some of that will get shunted eastward into our neck of the woods, but when we look back at this summer, this might be the most brutal stretch of summer here when it comes to heat and humidity, especially with those low temperatures at night, staying in the 70s for 7 days in a row. That's hard to get any time of the year. So it's going to be hot. It's going to be humid, no doubt about it. Okay, everyone, have a great day. We'll see you on News 9 midday.